Chapter 22. Yep, it's a siege. Oh shit. We might be too late, Jeff said, his voice cracking. He was already in a chopper, circling far above the hospital to get eyes on the situation. Jeremy had picked up the tank that Michael had called in and was approaching the hospital from the northeast, while Jack and Gavin followed him in the cargo bob. What do you mean, too late? Michael demanded over the comms. Looks like we've got a SWAT team on the roof, and choppers, lots of choppers. We need people up there to take them down. Jack's not going to be able to land until we clear the roof. Michael glanced back at the news footage on the TV. The only angles they were showing were from the ground, where the majority of cops were gathered out in front of the hospital. In retrospect, it had seemed odd that there had been no aerial footage from the news helicopters, but that suddenly made sense. The cops would have restricted the airspace. Michael was suddenly angry with himself for not noticing sooner. God, I'm a fucking idiot! He sprung to his feet, grabbing his assault rifle and making his way towards the stairwell down the hall. Don't worry, I'm on it, Jeff. Gonna check it out. Only a few moments later, his voice returned to the radio. Oh shit, I'm not on it, Jeff. I thought we could sneak up to the roof from here to give Jack some support, but they're in the building. They've got us pinned down on this floor. Elevators are locked down, SWAT on the floor above and below us in the stairwells. What about the hostage? Jeff asked. Can you use him as cover? I doubt it. One nurse for 5 of the fakes? They'll blow his ass away. He doesn't stand a chance. Michael shook his head, returning to the room where the others were, the look on his face alerting them there was a problem. Shit, Jeff mused. How are you doing for ammunition? Maybe enough to get up to the roof, but definitely not enough to make a stand like this. I still have C4, though. I could rig some to blow in the stairwells, try to clear out some of this heat. Whoa, that's too risky, Lindsay interrupted, picking up on the tone of the conversation, even though she could only hear Michael's responses. We still need to get out of here, and that's our only way to the roof. We could go down, out the front door. Wait for Lil J to clear a path, Michael suggested to both Jeff and the room. Jeff snorted. No offense, Michael, but that sounds like a fucking terrible idea. I mean, there are 1,000 goddamn cops out there. There was a long, pensive pause on Jeff's end. What if we... Jack, do you think you can pick up the tank and put it on the roof of the hospital? Jack started uncertainly. Can you do it? Jeff repeated. It sounds like a goddamn nightmare. He let out a long breath. But I can try. Alright. Lil J, change of plans. Need you to pull out into the open somewhere. Gotta try to make this as easy as we can for Jack. If there are cops inside the hospital already, we can't risk kicking this thing off before we have a chance to get our guys out of there. So Jack's gonna pick up the tank and put it on the roof for you to clear out the cops up there. Jeremy suddenly felt very nervous. Okay. Yep, bring that on. Jeff continued calling the shots, adjusting the plan on the fly. You can take out the helicopters while you're in the air, but we want it to be at the last possible minute, so they don't have time to send guys in to take down Michael's team inside. Gavin, you're armed up there? I am indeed, Gavin replied sharply, glancing at the flamethrower, suddenly very glad Jack hadn't been able to talk him out of bringing it. Michael's team needs help getting to you. You heard him. They're pinned down by SWAT at the moment and won't have enough ammo to fight their way out. You're going to make your way down to him and help clear the stairs to the roof. Wait till Lil J's cleared the rooftop, then head on in. Got it, Jeff, Gavin assured him. Michael, my boy, I'm coming for you. Be careful, Gavy, Michael said. We're already going to be carrying Ryan's useless ass. I don't want to have to carry 2 people out of here. Ryan shot him a sour look from the bed and absently touched the gauze covering the brand on his neck. Gavin snorted. I'm always careful, Michael. Michael groaned. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. If that's how you define careful, we're in real trouble. Jeff interrupted their banter. As soon as that tank hits the roof, all hell is going to break loose, so you guys need to be ready to move up as soon as I give the signal. Michael, make sure you lock down any entrance points you're not using to get out. Do not let them flank you. You're going to have enough trouble in the stairwells. You got your C4, use it. Don't need to tell me twice, Jeff. Michael was already beginning to plan how to strategically rig the explosives around the room. He handed his last grenade to Matt. Know how this works? Matt raised an eyebrow. Yeah, man. When I tell you, throw it out the window as far as you can. Should buy us a couple seconds of distraction while they figure out what's going on. I've got Jeremy secured. We're going airborne, Jack called over the comms. Despite the sudden change of plans, Jeff was still quietly optimistic. All right, we can do this. Good luck, everybody. From Jeff's vantage point, he could see Jack approaching the hospital, the tank swinging precariously below him. Over the comms, Jack and Gavin were calling out the positions of the police helicopters to Jeremy as he swung the turret around to aim his shot. The ones in the air aren't as big of a threat as the teams on the roof, Jack pointed out. For now, anyway. We don't want to start anything too soon, so wait until we've been spotted to start taking them out. Suddenly, two of the hovering police choppers turned and started moving towards them, blaring instructions over some buzzing loudspeaker system to halt their approach. Oh, I think we've been spotted, lads. Jeremy? Gavin started. Boom! Jeremy cried, cutting Gavin off as he fired the first round directly into the helicopter nearest to them, silencing their requests for them to turn around. The force of the shot swung the tank back slightly, causing the cargo bob to lurch, but Jack maintained control and masterfully countered the movement to regain balance. Nice shot, Jeremy, Jack said. I think they're on to us, boys, Gavin noted. Oh, you don't say, Jack said with a slight laugh. Jeremy fired another shot and took down the second chopper, which had rapidly changed direction in a futile attempt to flee. The wreckage came down in the rear of the hospital with a thunderous crash, alerting Michael's team inside that shit was about to get real. Be ready, guys. Michael's voice was barely audible over the commotion, but he was clearly making sure his team was in position to move. Jack guided the cargo bob over the roof of the hospital, and Jeremy fired a carefully placed round into the stationary SWAT transport helicopter, which erupted into a ball of flame. Lil J, hold fire. I'm putting you down, Jack instructed. Gavin, get ready. Gavin mounted up the flamethrower, threw a rope out the side of the cargo bob, and clipped on to descend, and almost, as an afterthought, slung an assault rifle over his shoulder. As soon as the tank touched down on the roof, an explosion went off out in front of the hospital, just inside the perimeter the cops had set up, sending shrapnel through the front line of officers. Apparently, Matt had a better arm than anyone had anticipated. Gavin, go! Jeff called out. Gavin launched himself out of the cargo bob door, swinging out remarkably elegantly, controlling his descent with expert precision that nobody had expected, and landing just as gracefully. He unclipped from the rope and sprinted off towards the stairwell entry. Michael, get ready, Jeff called over the comms. Gavin's inbound. Gavin was about 30 feet away from the door to the stairs when a SWAT team emerged to see what the commotion was on the roof. Gavin skidded to a stop, swinging the flamethrower wand around and shooting a wall of fire in their direction. Jeremy's head and shoulders emerged from the hatch of the tank, assault rifle at the ready. As the SWAT team braced for cover from the flames, Jeremy showered them with bullets, felling some and sending the remaining retreating back into the stairwell. Jeremy scanned the roof and skies for any imminent threat, but the nearest helicopters were maintaining their distance, wary of the tank. Gavin, we'll go in together, he said, climbing out of the tank. Jack, let me know if you need me back up here. Copy that, Jack confirmed. He positioned the cargo bob next to the tank and began to carefully land it so the tank remained secured and they could make a quick getaway. Michael, Lil J and I are coming down. There's SWAT inside, but we have their attention. Michael sounded like he was scrambling his team inside. Be careful, Gavin. Please don't die. Why would you even say that? Gavin pushed the door open a crack, firing a burst of flame through the narrow opening to force anyone behind the door back, as Jeremy sprinted up beside him. He shoved the door open fully, and Jeremy fired wildly into anyone who happened to be in the path. They have body armor, Jeremy realized. Of course they have body armor. It's okay. I got it, Gavin said coolly. Gavin briefly shut off the pilot flame on the flamethrower and sprayed fuel down the stairway to the landing below, showering the remaining SWAT team with the flammable mix. He relit the flame, leaned over the edge, and fired directly onto them. Before they realized what was happening, they were alight, beating at each other, trying to put out the fire and rolling on the ground in an attempt to smother the flames engulfing them. It wasn't going well. Soon, the smell of burning clothes, hair, and skin filled the stairwell, thick smoke rising out of the door. Gavin coughed a few times, nearly gagging with the smell. Gavin? Gavin! I'm okay, Michael. It's just a bit smoky up here is all. Gavin was still remarkably calm and collected. Jeremy was beginning to wonder if this was the same Gavin they'd been working with for all this time. Lil J, after you, he said with a grin. Oh, and take this from Michael. He held out the assault rifle he'd grabbed at the last minute, just in case. All right. Jeremy took the rifle and held his breath through the smoke as he carefully picked his way down the stairs, avoiding patches of still burning fuel and smoldering bodies. He made sure again to put bullets in the skulls of the survivors. The mental image was something he knew he'd never get rid of. The smell was even worse. He was briefly distracted, wondering if he'd ever be able to eat barbecue again, when movement caught his eye on the landing below him. He froze, then realized it was a regular police officer. He fired off a single round into the officer's chest, and the man stumbled backwards into the wall, but regained his footing after a few seconds and looked up to where Jeremy was perched on the stairs. Shit. Body armor. Right. Jeremy jumped down the remaining stairs and met the man face on. The officer swung the butt of his gun at Jeremy's head, but Jeremy was quicker. He dropped to the floor and kicked out hard into the officer's leg. The man crumpled to the floor, and Jeremy sprung to his feet, snatching his rifle and shooting the fallen cop again, this time in the head. Booyah! When you're fighting Jeremy Dooley, you watch your shins. Michael's amused humming giggle came from the landing of the stairs below him. You saw that, Michael? Jeremy blushed crimson. I sure did. That was awesome. Jeremy grinned, regaining his composure. We're clear. Gav's got the place on lockdown above us. Still can't believe Dan trusted him with a flamethrower. Still can't get over how good he is with it either. Yeah, Gavin always wants to set something on fire, Michael mused before Lindsay appeared behind him. Are we good? She asked. Jeremy leaned over the railing, noticing movement far below. The SWAT team below may have retreated after the fire, but they'd surely be on their way up next. He nodded. For now. Better move quick, though. He held out the extra rifle, and Lindsay took it without hesitation. All right, Matt and Trevor, get Ryan to the roof. Michael, you take Sean. Jeremy and I will cover you. Let's go, Lindsay ordered. Michael held out a small remote control to Lindsay. When we're all clear on the next flight of stairs, press this button, hold it for 3 seconds to arm it. There's a 5-second delay after you let go. Lindsay nodded, not questioning him, as Matt and Trevor awkwardly tried to carry Ryan between themselves. Michael spotted the struggle and the look of frustration on Ryan's face. You guys get the hostage. I got this. You're good to carry me on your own, Michael? Ryan asked, looking up at him skeptically. Hey, man, I've been hitting the gym. These babies aren't just for show. He mock-flexed his arms and grinned. Michael had carried Ryan before, managed to drag his unconscious body from a burning building when Ryan's RPG had misfired and detonated too close to where he was taking cover. Besides, you're not that heavy, just fucking awkward, 'cause you're so damn tall. He hoisted Ryan up over his shoulders in a fireman's carry. Ryan grimaced in pain, but huffed a laugh. I feel like a fashionable shawl. You feel like 180 pounds of dead weight is what you feel like, Michael grunted, shifting him a bit on his shoulders. I'll have you know I'm a svelte 173, thank you very much. Lindsay rolled her eyes at them as they made their way to the stairs. Ladies, please, we need to get a move on. After you? Matt and Trevor guided the still very compliant Sean up the stairs, followed by Michael and Ryan, with Lindsay and Jeremy backing up the stairs behind them, guns at the ready. Heavy footsteps echoed up the stairwell from below them as they made steady progress up the stairs. Lindsay fired a few warning shots down the stairwell, a ricochet hitting one of the officers in the calf, sending him sprawling a few flights below them. They hit the first landing, and Lindsay gripped the remote, ready to arm the explosives, urging the boys to hurry up. Trevor, Sean, and Matt were just arriving at the door to the roof where Gavin was waiting. Lindsay called up to them. Leave Sean inside. Gavin stopped them before they could open the door. Jack, he called over the comms. Are we still all clear on the roof? There's another chopper approaching, but you can beat it if you just go right now. Just be careful. Go now! Get to the cargo bomb! Gavin yelled, bursting out onto the open roof, flamethrower at the ready. Matt and Trevor made the dash across to the cargo bomb, climbing in and arming themselves to make a stand and cover the others. Gavin followed closely, keeping an eye on the incoming chopper. Michael was struggling with Ryan as they reached the top of the stairs. All right, Ryan, I gotta put you down for a second. I can take him, Jeremy volunteered, and they awkwardly swapped him between them. And now I'm Jeremy's shawl, Ryan joked through gritted teeth with a pained laugh. Jeremy appreciated his attempt at humor, given the situation. More like a full-length cloak on me. Hey, yeah, my legs almost touched the ground. They cracked open the door as the chopper outside hovered low and another SWAT team unloaded, rappelling down to the rooftop. More SWAT! I'm going to take 'em out! Gavin dashed back toward the tank, popping the hatch and climbing inside. Jack relayed over the radio. Might want to sit tight for a minute, Michael. Let Gavin deal with these guys. Don't really have time for that, Jack, Michael relayed. Inside, the police were catching up to them. Lindsay grabbed the remote Michael had given her. I'm arming the explosives. Michael, cover Jeremy. Get Ryan to the chopper. I'll use the hostage as cover. Go now. Michael, how do you drive this thing? Gavin cried desperately over the comms. Why does it have 6 pedals? Nope, that's definitely the same Gavin, Jeremy thought to himself with a chuckle. Gavin, are you in the tank? Michael was bewildered. The situation was almost as hysterical as it was infuriating. Get out, Gav. I'm coming. Cover me. Michael dashed out towards the tank, and Jeremy ran with Ryan behind him. Lindsay counted down the 5-second delay and pulled Sean out of the stairwell as the explosion shook the building. The SWAT team were moving in as Gavin climbed out of the tank. Michael clambered up to get in it, and Jeremy got Ryan to the cargo bob, using the tank as cover. Michael slid into the cockpit of the tank with a comfortable familiarity. All right, let's light these fuckers up. Outside the stairwell, there was a low concrete wall between Lindsay and the SWAT team. She grabbed Sean and pulled him to cover behind it. She slung the assault rifle over her shoulder and pulled her pistol from its holster. Michael fired an explosive round into the chopper, bringing it down in a fiery wreck onto the roof. The SWAT team were momentarily startled, and Gavin took the opportunity to clamber into the passenger seat of the cargo bob after Jeremy and Ryan were in. Jack, let's go! Jack took the cargo bob straight up, lifting Michael's tank into the air with a jerking motion. Jeremy was focused on making sure Ryan was okay, but Trevor and Matt immediately noticed Lindsay wasn't with them. Where's Lindsay? Trevor's eyes were wide as his head whipped around, scanning the rooftop for her. Matt pointed out one side. There, she's still got the hostage. Gavin felt his heart sink. Jack, we've got to go back for Lindsay. What? Jeff suddenly chimed in. No, just go. I'll get her. I'm sorry, Michael, Gavin cried out of the comms, sounding distraught. You forgot Lindsay? How the fuck did you assholes forget my wife? Michael, this is important. I am the Black Buzzard. You better not fucking shoot me down, Jeff shouted over the commotion to make sure he was heard. Just make sure you get her out of there, Jeff, Michael yelled, or I will fucking shoot you. He continued to mutter under his breath about them leaving Lindsay behind. Meanwhile, from her position behind the wall, Lindsay saw the cargo bob take off and looked to Sean. Those motherfuckers. Well, shit. I guess they're all trying to get fired.